Hello, true believers. It's been 10 years since Spider-Man 3's release, and the backlash is still present. So today, I'm here to analyze why this film is hated. Let's start with the fact that there is executive meddling. Sam Raimi did not want Venom in his movie, but Arad insisted they put Venom in. What ended up happening was an unrecognizable and butchered version of Eddie Brock / Venom. Enter Topher Grace getting casted in
He's busy. Oh, no,
Would you look at that? Rest in peace, Eddie Brock. But I'm not going to give Topher Grace all the shit for this failed character adaptation. No. Sam Raimi's getting some too. In a recent interview, he admitted he didn't give it his all for Spider-Man 3. Gee, I wonder why! I'm convinced that Sam Raimi didn't want Venom in his movie to the point where he gave Topher Grace no direction. He just let him do whatever. But before I continue, might I add that not even Stan Lee and Kevin Feige could save this film? But that's enough. Let's break this turd down piece by piece. Now, my first problem with this movie is Peter wants to tell Harry what happened with his father. What's the problem here? He could have told him this years ago. He tells him the truth, there's no conflict. Simple. Norman did tell him not to tell Harry, which is a good reason, but you tell Harry years later anyways? Why not tell him that same night Norman died? It's not like it matters, because Harry gets amnesia until the third act. Now, this is one of the biggest flaws in the movie. The fact that the main character's developments take a step backwards instead of forwards like the first two films. Peter growing into his own as a young adult and getting the girl. In Spider-Man 3, he completely ignores MJ's needs and makes it all about himself. What is he, a little boy? Harry gets amnesia, and Mary Jane still needs saving. Well, some things never change. To be fair, she does know what she wants, up until she doesn't know what she wants. Make up your mind! This relationship is heavily flawed to the point where it holds down the movie. A majority of the scenes and dialogue is just them arguing. I'm no love expert. In fact, if you know me well enough, you know that I hate romances. However, I am someone that understands different points of view. Let me break this down. Peter is getting full of himself because of all the love he's getting for his selfless acts as Spider-Man, so all the negativity surrounding Mary Jane isn't bothering him. And at the same time, she's jealous, but her problems are being ignored by Peter, who she needs to be comforted by. Shouldn't one be happy for the other? Shouldn't there be a mutual understanding? Regardless, because there is no mutual understanding, they begin to diverge, which is another step backward in their development. And Peter kissing Gwen is the clincher.
No, Spider-Man, no! All right.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Enough about love, because it's time for retcons.
Who are you?
You hired him last week. Freelance.
I did? What's that?
Wait, this is his introduction to the Daily Bugle? But what about...
Problem is, we don't have a decent picture. Eddie's been on it for weeks. We can barely...
Is this a retcon or a coincidence? I'll just have to put that under my number of questions that I have for this film that have still yet to be answered. The NYPD contact Peter and May that Flint is Uncle Ben's real murderer. They get contacted 2 days after he breaks out. He's the real murderer? Wouldn't his face have been on the paper? Come on, movie, explain yourself! To the film's credit, they did make Flint Marko a sympathetic character with stunning sound effects. Even having 2 heartfelt scenes, one of which is this one. But now that we're at this part of the movie, I do have to talk about the symbiote. Again, because Sam Raimi wasn't interested in Venom, but he had to because of AV-ARAD, he tried as hard as he wanted to. Don't get me wrong, there are a few great scenes here and there, but we're not only supposed to get Black Suit Spider-Man, we're also supposed to get Venom in the same movie. There's not enough time. The symbiote on its own can take up a whole movie, but here it just takes up a majority of the second act. Also, Emo Peter continues the string of bad decision-making within this movie. Why couldn't he look the same, but with a more aggressive attitude like in the cartoons or comics? They tackled this way better in those iterations.
Rent? Not now. Listen, it's a free country. It's not rent-free country.
Leave me alone.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
That wasn't cool.
He is a good boy. He must be in some kind of trouble.
Speaking of bad decision making, I don't even know what to say about these scenes.
And go like this.
Oh my God! But the one that has irked fans the most is this one.
Your shots are so good.
I'd love to shoot you sometime.
Peter Parker. Peter.
Parker! Miss Brent? That's not the position I hired you for.
Black Suit Spider-Man. Peter, these are incredible. You gotta have these, Jonah.
I'll pay you the usual rate.
If you want the shots, I'll take the staff job. Double the money.
If you showed me this in 2006 and said, yeah, this is going to be in Spider-Man 3, I would have called you a f***ing liar. Also, now that I think about it, Gwen Stacy doesn't contribute anything to the plot. She's just there to incidentally cause distance between Peter and Mary Jane, which is a real shame because Bryce Dallas Howard as Gwen Stacy is, damn. Oh, thank God. It's almost over. We're in the third act now. Oh my God, we're in the third act. This third act is so sloppily paced. We get that. Peter hits MJ. I'm a misunderstood monster. Peter says ciao to the black suit. Venom just now barely makes it into the movie. Sandman returns. MJ's kidnapped. Climax. Wow. Venom barely being introduced now with only 30 minutes left. Okay, well, let's see what we can... Oh, come on! Just... Okay.
Eddie! Wait, why do you have that scary Venom face if you're just gonna peel it back when you talk?
Because this way I get more face time.
That's lame.
Speaking of which, Bernard, why didn't you tell Harry and save everyone from conflict? Why does Sandman want to kill Spider-Man, but then later on says he didn't want any of this? Doesn't he just want money for his sick daughter? And why just... why? This movie is a mess. The motives are clear, but rushed. Everyone's development takes a step backwards. You can still tell when it came to Eddie Brock, Sam Raimi could care less. Too many subplots, too many characters, and not enough focus. And plenty of executive meddling. It's no wonder Sony made the same mistake 7 years later. It's a real shame too, because you can see glimpses of Sam Raimi's original vision. Revenge and forgiveness would have been the themes of this movie, even without Venom. Had all the symbiotes' screen time not taken away time from other characters, this might have been another solid entry. Sam Raimi put all his effort on the villains he cared to have in this movie.
I was scared.
With scenes like this, you can see that Sam was onto something.
I told your uncle all I wanted was the car.
What is it? I need your car.
He said to me, why don't you just put down the gun and go home? I realize now he was just trying to help me. Then I saw my partner running over with the cash, and the gun was in my hand. I did a terrible thing to you. I spent a lot of nights wishing I could take it back. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just want you to understand.
I've done terrible things too.
I didn't choose to be this. The only thing left to me now is my daughter.
I forgive you.
Sadly, we'll never know what Spider-Man 3 was meant to be. I'm Lino Mars of the MMCA Productions crew, and I'll see you next time.